Filip Hrgovic stops Dave Allen in the third round. Let's be honest, that was an absolute scam. The matchmakers should be ashamed of themselves for making that fight and letting it happen. Levels were just simply shown there. Hrgovic about 10 levels above Dave Allen, beat him down. Then eventually Jamie Moore had to stand on the ropes with the towel and the fight was stopped. Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, they were complaining about back of the head shots, but Dave Allen kept dipping down, dipping his head down. Hrgovic was unintentionally clipping around the back of the head here and there when landing his shots through no fault of his own. So look, I think it was definitely right to stop the fight. I think the fans were scammed by the idea of the fight. Look, we're all saying, oh yeah, there's always hope with Dave Allen. I was saying that beforehand. I knew we'd get battered though. But there's always hope because you never know. But I did also say the hype train will be derailed, and that's exactly what happened there. And look, I like Dave Allen, I'm a big Dave Allen fan, but we need to speak honestly on that. It was an absolute scam, and Dave Allen should never have been in there with Filip Hrgovic, and I feel like he knew that before the fight. And he bloody 100% knows that now. Look, fair play to Dave Allen. He got himself into shape for this one. Clearly, actually worked hard for once for this one, which was good to see. But yeah, he was never going to be able to compete at that level. Never going to be able to compete at that level with Filip Hrgovic. And I don't get who offered Dave Allen that fight. I don't get why they'd offer him it, to be honest. Offer him a big fight, but not with, they're calling Hrgovic a top five heavyweight. Why are you doing that? I will never understand. It's really weird and dumb matchmaking, really, the fact that Dave Allen was offered this fight. I mean, he said after, they came to him with this fight. It wasn't Dave Allen calling his name out. They came to Dave Allen with this fight for Filip Hrgovic. And it's like, what are you doing? Keep the fighters safe. That was always going to be a terrible idea. And I'm really glad that Jamie Moore stopped the fight when he did, because that could have ended really badly. Dave Allen was going to go down probably in the next round. Let's be honest. I mean, we showed his toughness. He was brave, showed his chin. But reality is, Dave Allen did absolutely nothing in that fight. Hardly threw any shots, hardly threw any punches whatsoever, and Hrgovic just beat up on him on the ropes. Dave Allen sat on the ropes, threw nothing, and Hrgovic beat up on him. That is basically the story of how that fight went. And yeah, look, Devon couldn't do anything. The jab of Hrgovic was in his face. That was always going to be the problem. I knew that would be Hrgovic's key weapon, and it certainly was. Dave Allen couldn't deal with the reach, couldn't deal with just the constant jab of Filip Hrgovic. And yeah, it was a good work rate from Hrgovic. Didn't let off whatsoever, and kept on Dave Allen constantly and made that statement which he should have made, because I was slagging him off saying he needs to be stopping these guys. He should have stopped David Adeleye. I think a lot of people were really frustrated with Hrgovic and annoyed with him that he wasn't able to get Adeleye out of there, so he had to come in, he had to make a statement tonight, and that's exactly what he did. So yeah, I like what I saw from Hrgovic. He's picking his shots very well, but then again, no, it was easy for him to put on a performance like that against someone who wasn't doing anything. When it's Hrgovic and Atalma, that's when we will really start to see things. But I think Hrgovic can give Atalma a bit of a tough time here and there. I don't think he'll win the fight. I won't pick him to win the fight, but he can give Atalma a tough time. He's definitely got the tools to be able to do so. But yeah, look, again, beat up on Dave Allen, picked his shots well, and I do like the performance from him. It was the perfect game plan, really start fast, make the statement, get him out of there, because he knows, especially early on, Dave Allen, doesn't do anything early on. He does tend to build his way into fights. I mean, even if they did let it go on long, he was never going to come into it anyway. But that is, what Dave Allen does. He builds his way into fights, gets better as they go late, like against McMurdo, for example. He was getting that success, very late on. That's when he was getting success. Other than that, he was getting beat up on. But then it's like, with the Johnny Fisher fight, he was getting beat up on for the first four, came back in the fifth, knocked him down. It was similar with the first fight, Fisher was good early, Dave Allen came on late. And I think, even though Hrgovic knew, he was levels above Dave Allen coming into it, You know, he knew it's best to start early. Hrgovic knows his gas tank isn't great, so if he can beat up Dave Allen, show his skills, put his shots together, things that Dave Allen hasn't really seen before at this level, at this highest level, then yeah, Hrgovic was always going to get him out of there, and he knew that. So, you know, good boxing IQ, good tactics from Filip Hrgovic going into this. And yeah, what's next for Dave Allen? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I feel like we were scammed there. Doncaster football ground was scammed. Um, because it's like if you want to put Dave Allen in a football stadium, you know, give him someone who's actually beatable. Hrgovic was never going to be beatable for Dave Allen, never. You know, although people are like, oh, hopefully, you know, he can. There's always something, but nah, at that level, nah, it was never. But you know, it's what you got to do in the week to try and get yourself excited. Try and just imagine that something can happen by saying, "Oh yeah, Dave Allen's always got a chance." That's what I was trying to do. Try and build something up. But we all knew that would happen. We all knew that Hrgovic would be up on him. Although I thought it would go the distance because after the Adelaide fight, I couldn't trust Hrgovic again. But he got the job done there, so fair play. Got him out of there. Made the statement that he had to make. Because if he went the distance there, then let's be real, people really would have been questioning him. But yeah, job done in 3 rounds. Simple. But yeah, it feels like we were scammed by the matchmakers there. And you know, look, fair play to Dave Allen for taking that fight. He'd fight anyone. Fair play to him for selling out. Well, he didn't. It was selling out anyway. Look, they had a good capacity there. But yeah, it was a shame that it was a shame it ended like that, but it was always going to end like that at the end of the day. But yeah, Hrgovic did what he had to do. Matchmakers are stupid for making the fight happen. Should never have happened. They should have given Hrgovic another better opportunity, and they should have gave Allen a more winnable fight in a homecoming, which you know he deserved because he deserves a moment like that. Dave Allen, without a doubt, he does. Without how popular he is, but they should have put him in there with a more suitable opponent, and Hrgovic should be much better. But that's what we can say about that. There we go.